don't know yet, we're actually going to be live on Facebook as we're doing this. So a nice way to keep a memory of what you are doing this morning. So as I said before, if you like to perform and just use that space here as much as you like, feel free to. So we've got 2 mics. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Day 2 of Poetry Festival 2024. We're here live at the Blue Room at the Arts House, and today's program we have School Unbound to kick off our morning. So here we have poets from many different schools all over Singapore and different ages as well. So you're up for a treat in their deepest, darkest secrets that they will share this morning. All right, so first up, without further ado, I'll have Leong Sin come up from the CAT program to share with us her poem today. Sin, please.
Yeah, thank you. Test. Okay, firstly, hi everyone. Thank you for coming today. My name is Xing Yi. I'm 18 this year, so I'm pretty nervous right now at this huge audience. So today I'm going to be sharing a short poem that I wrote about 1 year back. It's called Dances. So let's start. Dances. Behold, the starfish of a man. Let us waltz to his swinging watermelon waist, his jazz mouth, pretty eyes. He had arrived upon recommendation, and true to word is as cultured as a spoon of yogurt. From afar, see how his pianist ears have whittled his fingers down to screwdrivers. His carpentry hands, all the rage of art making. But tonight, he's tipped against the counter, barely listening. His backlit head a disco orange. On stage, the tubas roared, hammers sprawled on wood. The dancers, foreign and forgotten. Thank you.
Thank you, Sin, for sharing your poem with us. Can you tell us a little bit more about this close-knit community that you feel have developed your writing with you?
Okay, so I first joined this online youth writing community called Write to the World when I was 14 years old. So you can imagine it was during a really, really young period of my time where I just started writing. And of course, all my poems were full of cliches and whatnot. But this online community really helped spark my interest and helped me develop and recognize poetry as not just a mode of self-expression, but also self-discovery, where I can find out how I can better express myself, articulate myself, and most importantly, make friends. So on this site, I actually talked with a lot of youth poets out there. Some of them are really accomplished. They've won competitions. Some of them are in university studying literature. So these people are also a reflection of what I could choose when I go into uni. So I think that was really inspiring.
Wow, so you have actually got to know a lot of like-minded people.
Yeah.
Where can we find this website?
It's called Write the World. I think a simple Google search will take you there. Yeah.
Any membership fees or anything?
Oh no, it's completely free. It's for people 13 to 18 though.
So take notes, guys. Thank you very much, Sin.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, dancers. Well, now we'll have Annabelle Tan to come up and share her poetry with us. Annabelle, please.
introduce.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Hi, I'm Adabel. I'm 16 this year and I'm from Raffles Girls. And the poem I'll be reading today is titled Awaiting Judgment. Thank you. Interior, a pause, night. In the space between this life and whatever may come next, she finds herself in a supermarket. She's delighted at this familiar scene, but with a slow blink of belated shock, it dawns on her that something is wrong. Every word she's ever said is displayed on the racks, laid out in the place of the snack packs. Reflection is an RSVP to confession. She must confess. She is taken aback. She shows no appreciation for this silent attack. Yet, she finds herself wondering if there's anything curious behind these shelves. There lies something compelling in viewing raw confessions of yourself. A sigh begrudges 2 steps forwards, towards where she recalls the freezers to be. She decides that uncooked food will screen her last movie as she sits cross-legged on the ground, leaning on other flavored thoughts, eyes closed and silently. This is a movie where the storyboard doesn't matter. The camera fell into place regardless of the shaky hand of whatever cameraman. As such, description of it has been omitted in this script. When it ends, she stands too soon. Shaky legs, shaky hands balancing, unforgotten slashes and retrieves melting afternoons. While the credits play, she vomits tears to replace all the words she realizes she had never said. Sometimes, to mend the hole, you need a previously avoided cliché. A solemn air descends. She tears apologies out of her lungs, hoping she can be heard from wherever their destinations rest. She gasps for air and she gasps to touch the thorns of the roses she remembers again. Someone listens. She's suddenly scared for what may come next. It strikes her clear now, as she is no longer subjected to gravity, that she will always be grounded to the brevity of being. Eyes soar, she looks at the freezer and realizes the handles are now made of 12 pearls. That's when she understands that she has dealt her own hand. In the space between this life and what may come next, she finds herself crying like a newborn in her mother's arms, safe in a supermarket.
Yep, I'm done. Thank you, Annabelle, for your poem. So this sounds like one of those deep, dark secret cells alluding to at the start. So do you want to tell us a little bit about your inspiration? Sounds quite reflective, isn't it, guys? Something quite deep.
I wrote this poem because I was really hungry and I was trying to experiment with rhyming.
Keep going.
So I started with the first line about the supermarket and the snack packs because I was hungry and I wanted food. So I started writing about food. But as I wrote the poem, I guess I started drawing in my life into the poem. But the thing is, I'm not sure what part of my life, because I feel like poetry is a way to work through your life and not something you use to... Let me find the word. Sorry, give me 1 second. With intention. It's not really very intentional. It's more like unintentionally you start drawing in parts of your life into the work. So I guess if I was talking about deep dark secrets, there's not one specific deep dark secret or one specific thing I was trying to say, but my whole life.
Yeah, those moments where you feel the judgment arises.
Yeah.
We've all faced that, isn't it? That sense of like, judging ourselves or others judging us. Yeah. Thank you for sharing this.
Thank you.
With us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next we have Aiden Gregory Koo. Welcome, Aiden. Do you want this?
Yeah.
Do you want to stand in the middle?
Oh, sure. Good morning, everyone. Hi, it's an honor to be here. Forgive me if my voice doesn't sound that clean. It's first thing in the morning and I have a bit of sinuses. But yeah, I'll be reading you my poem Peace Center. It was written first as a mentorship exercise from my dear mentor, Mr. Yeo Kai Chai. He took me and my co-mentee to what is now closed, a Peace Center, because he said he wanted us to kind of mark down this moment of history of like a very big, this very important building closing. So I hope you enjoy. Peace Center died as it had lived, trampled by the hundreds of feet that came to pay homage to its withered walls and streaked floor tiles. No longer the incessant beeping of printers that rang of copyright infringements, or the garish twang of nicotine-flavored KTV lounges and their sequin call girls. Just the marching of leather boots on ceramic, and the droning of Tian Mi Mi and Imagine Dragons, echoing like a defibrillator through a failing heart. The new smells like cigarettes and acetone. The old smells like ginseng and mold, yet they blend together like a potpourri of decay, round the halls and through the alveoli vents. The grey spots on the derelict white walls drown their secret confessions, obscenities, remembrances, vulgarities, corridor arteries clogged with multicolored sticky note murals, a canvas to our sins. Everywhere you look, a dream has left its mark, painted in asphyxia blue and period red. A signature, a smiley face, a peace sign, a pair of breasts, a pentagram, stenciled in the corner of a bathroom, or the walls of an abandoned TCM shop. In the barricaded stairwell untouched by the fluorescent light of day, art installations and thrift stores fill the empty spaces. Second chances and second glances for lost pieces to find their place again. All that remains a peace center is a corpse dressed up for their Saturday best, a centerpiece for the old to go and the new to come. December 1974 to January 2024. Thank you.
Wow, Peace Center. How many of us here have been to the Peace Center? Round of hands. A bit less than half. Yeah, what sort of memories have you had at the Peace Center?
Well,
Before you wrote this poem, was that the first time you were there?
it's actually, believe it or not, the first time I was there. 'Cause,
Yeah, it's not like a
I just passed
popular
by the
hideout.
road. Yeah.
Yeah. And how about the rest of you? Any fond memories that you have had at the Peace Center?
Regarding fond memories I had in Peace Center, I guess that day was my fondest memory. Because
Yeah.
it was like walking through and like everything was just very jarring. Because like it's a place that's supposed to be very old and very like, not a lot of people would pay homage to it. So like a bulk of the idea of Peace Center was that a lot of people was gonna write about the fact that a lot of people came here specifically just for clout. They said I wanted to be the last person to leave a memory of myself at Peace Center before. So if you go in there, right, you see it was a lot of like, that's why I said there was a line about like the canvas to our sins, because the idea that a lot of people would write things in there and it would just die. It's almost like a time capsule. Like no one would remember it. It would be gone. So a lot of people, personally, I felt it was very self-indulgent. Like everywhere was just stencils. A lot of people, they'll just spray paint. There was a mural wall with a bunch of sticky notes with a lot of very, very jarring things that I probably should not say right now. But yeah, they were there, and yeah, there were three.
Yeah, probably the only place you can vandalize, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
Right before it gets torn down. So a bit of that liberation, perhaps, like right before a building actually goes into history. So thank you for being so thoughtful to put that piece of history in your work. Thank you, Aidan.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right, so for our next poet, we've got Sophie Liu from the Creative Arts program as well. Sophie, please.
Okay. Well, but I'm not sure if I'm quite tall enough for this. Okay. Hi. I'm a little bit taller than I thought. Okay. Hi, I'm Sophie and I'm a Sec 4 studying at Nanyang Girls High School. So the poem I'm about to read is one of the first poems I wrote for my Creative Arts Program mentorship with Miss Christine Chia. It's a little long, so I do hope that you enjoy it. Oof. A half-familiar face. Act 1. In the aftermath of the fall, I have become a man reborn. Months later, I'm still half tracing behind footsteps, ghosting a path I once walked. They tell me, "You used to be our finest." As I lay propped up against a pillow on grimy bed sheets, pale skin hidden under thick layers of bandages, they say solemnly, "You were our company, our country's brightest." I thank them graciously, nodding on behalf of someone I do not know. After I'm discharged, I'm driven home, a 2-story flat downtown. The walls are painted a drab white, and I ask myself if there's any difference between the hospital I had just left and this place I had apparently lived in for 35 years. The keys feel uncertain in my hand, jagged and razor sharp as I clumsily turn them in. Finally, the door falls open, and I gingerly step onto the small cloth mat I had laid down, while my mother prances in, throwing open my fridge, grabbing a can of beer, before slinking into my leather sofa. Carefully, I examine the room for clues, for my own fingerprints, for signs. There, hung proudly against the white concrete, is a golden frame, and I stand inside it in a row, holding up my honours degree. Here, a newspaper article pinned up next to it, my face splattered against the sepia. The label they are selling me under is titled, "Young man of great talent wins award, gets a high-paying job." My mother, already drunk, collapsed onto the sofa, calls for me. Hoarsely, she asks me, "Boy, tell me you still remember how to make money, please?" Act 2. These days, I've become an actor. As my empty hours pass, I reconstruct myself, holding only fragments of my memory. It is as if I'm the director of a memory play, hazy and dreamlike, watching myself from the inside of a glass box. I continue to prowl this house, still searching for whatever it is I've lost. Sometimes, in the middle of the night, I find myself in the black and white tiled bathroom, trying to recognize the face I'm wearing on my skull. I logged into my accounts. I found a password on some expensive leather notepad, and every message I find is regarding a meeting, a follow-up, a report. But one break of dawn, I peer under my bed. The scariest monster lies below, a journal scribbled with hardly coherent calligraphy, like muttering, like deliriousness, penned down in blotchy ink. Next to it, I find a stack of magazines, a kaleidoscope of every color. Brushstrokes dance across their pages, sections occupied by beautiful monologues. Suddenly, I see a brief flash, an electric shock, as the moments of my life pass like lightning before my eyes. The few colors I had cherished so dearly in a life I had lived in black and white. For hours and days, I pore myself over these magazines, and in every colored post-it I have pasted over the corners, my annotations written in cursive, I find myself in the nooks and crannies. When I look into the mirror once more, I see myself lit up vibrantly under the fluorescent white lights, as if standing on stage. So I tell them now, I think I want to paint, to act. Their faces contort, shaping into expressions I have lost the ability to comprehend. They tell me to return to my old life, remain in my throne, remain in my tax bracket. Perhaps you have forgotten. The arts will not get you anywhere. True to any actor, I play along. Yes, I understand. Thank you for your concern. But I turn my apartment into a studio theater, painting the vacant walls into intricate murals, the way I dog-eared the pages in my magazine. I audition for shows, I write my own scripts, I spend hours hunched over canvases. I hear what they say about me. I do. Everywhere I trail, I'm subjected to looks of pity. I hear the things they whisper, the things they say when they think I'm lost in my head. which is all the time. Gila eh. The accident made him crazy. They believe it changed me for the worse. I mean, what kind of man leaves a high-paying job at a big name tech company to become an actor? An artist? But for me, I finally found a familiarity within myself. Finally at home with the face I wear on my skull. Thank you.
Wow, gila eh. Gila eh. Wasn't that heartrending? Well, I could relate to that, I think. Staying in the tax bracket is something that as you grow up, you feel like you need to be more aware of as you need to do tax returns. Sophie, so maybe you can tell us a little bit more about how you started writing poetry. Yeah.
I actually started writing poetry because a friend of mine in school, we were not on very good terms. So we ended up not becoming on very good terms after being friends for a few years. So I just poured my heart out into very sappy and cringy and cliche poetry. And I remember once I read out my poem to my teacher, and then he was like, "This is really edgy. Are you okay?"
From the laughter I can get that everyone can relate, yeah. So were you okay?
I was okay. I think
A bit gila.
yeah, a bit gila. I used poetry to kind of express my emotions, and then I think I still treat it the same way now. Also, for the gila part, I spent last night practicing how to do the accent right. All of the parts of accent, I was like, I gotta get this right.
She did it, didn't she? Yeah, I think that's the beauty of intercultural poems. We get ourselves acquainted and exposed to different languages. And the beauty of Poetry Festival is really bringing together all the different cultures in Singapore. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing your poem.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sophie. Thank you. All right, so next up, we've got Erica. Erica Ramlee, everyone.
I'm not tall enough for this. I think this is okay. Okay, hello. The poem I'm reading today is Refrigerator. It's the first poem I wrote for CAP mentorship, and I was mentored by Mr. Darryl Lim. Like Sophie, I'm also a secondary 4 student in Nanyang Girls High. We represent guys. Okay. Refrigerator. During spring cleaning, brooms and mops hit the floor like gavels against sound blocks. The family gives their verdict. In their showroom kitchen, this incongruous centerpiece must go. They sit around Nai-Nai's parting gift, clearing it out. Practiced hands carefully handle blackening produce, hauling it all from the refrigerator and into big black trash bags. Nothing is salvageable here. Even the air tastes sour like expired milk. I reach in and coax tapao boxes out of hiding. Most of them mutter grievances of late nights and missed dinners, but one in particular is left gaping, chiding me for skipping mid-autumn dinner. My face reddens, from exertion of course. Papa holds up a glass jar, pickled vegetables perhaps. Tentatively, he opens it, sniffs it, and sniffles. It reeks of death. His hands tremble as he pours out the ashen contents, though he does not falter, dipping the urn-like jar into boiling water again. Mama stares inside the refrigerator, oddly reminiscent of their start. What was once empty has been filled, and now what it was filled with has gone bad. Her lover stands by flickering flames, and so she wipes the refrigerator down, quietly resolute. Mei dutifully fills the jar with fresh brine. She loads the bottom compartment with whole fruit and stacks Tupperware full of fresh cut produce. In packing the refrigerator with homemade food, she fills the house with her tender love. Ge covers the leftovers from the Tuan Yuan Fan with cling wrap, with fingers dyed a sweet pink and smelling of spice. He places them in between the glass jar and a plate of dyed eggs and marinated ginger slices. His eyes tear up. It's the ginger, probably. In the end,
our refrigerator stays. It is adorned with magnetic letters that hold up family photos with Nai, plans for a family vacation in March, and a calendar of promises for a better year to come. We close the refrigerator door with finality, a resolution. Thank you.
Wow, ginger slices are my favorite, especially with dumplings. I love ginger slices. Do you like them too?
Dumplings? Or ginger?
slices.
I don't really like ginger. Sorry, guys.
I usually keep myself warm when I'm overseas by boiling, and yeah. The fridge can be a very happy place for a lot of us, and also dangerous, right? As we heard from our earlier poet. Erica, can you maybe tell us a little bit more about the creative arts program, like how you felt you maybe learned, or gained anything from it?
So for the creative arts program, there was like 2 segments. It was firstly the seminar, then the mentorship. So during the seminar, I got to experience like a lot of workshops from different writers. I went to 2 poetry and 1 prose workshop just for the fun of it. And I learned a lot about them, about the world of writing, and especially how to write. Then as for CAP mentorship, when it got serious,
The mundane and the magic came.
yeah, I don't know. I like that. I like the concept of having the mundane and magic. I discovered that because I was writing poetry, and then I realized there was a pattern of me depicting everyday life, but then like taking my own spin on it. So yeah, because I think we just exist, but then we're the ones that give life meaning. So I record down my daily life, but I'm the one who gives it meaning in the poem.
Awesome. Thank you so much for Erica showing us what makes us so intrinsically human. Well, so now we've had quite a few of our poets from different schools come up. For those who are joining us live and maybe miss a little bit at the start, my name is Hui Hui. I'm your host today for School Unbound. And this morning, we are opening the 2nd day of Poetry Festival Singapore 2024. I see many familiar faces and new faces this morning. Thank you for coming up early. We know it's Saturday morning, and all of you here really shows the faith and the dedication that we have towards the arts and poetry. So thank you for being here today, everyone. Yay. And so as part of the 10th edition of Poetry Festival Singapore, School Unbound this year runs from the 26th to the 28th July, and with additional events as well at Temenggong Arts and Residence and the Arts House here. Then we also had some programs at the National Library yesterday. Sorry if you missed that. We've got quite a few coming out, so please do join in. So do check out the exciting lineup of other events during the festival, including book launches, discussions, readings, and all of that promote the power of poetry. So to view the full lineup, you can go to pfs2024.ptix.com. For those of us on Instagram, I know many of us are. You can look for Poetry Festival Singapore. All right, so without further ado, I'm going to bring up our next poet to share with us. Ho Yi-Lin, please. Round of applause for Yi-Lin. You want this one? Yeah, can stand it. Oh my God. Can I put it here? Hello.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Okay, I'll hold this.
You can be standing behind you. Okay.
Hello, everyone. My name is Elin. And I write. Yeah. So before I start my poem, I would like to say that, my title of the poem, Becoming, it was originally titled Being and Becoming. But then now the word becoming is embedded in being. And I think this echoes the message of my poem, that we continuously change as we live and as we be. And yeah, I'm very scared. So, okay. So this is my poem, Becoming. I linger once again, squandered,
still, sordid, and foraging through the weighted chasm of being and becoming. 17 is spinning off my palm, a whirlwind of youth whipping towards my dusty doom, just like 16 and 15 and all other years of waiting and wilting. Who am I to become what I want to become? I know about war, with all that I am now against all that I yearn to be. I know about the vortex, to swirl through stagnancy with wind resistance elbowing these motions of change. I know I want to change. I know I want to be great, to be swept off my feet by the tempest, to chase the sonorous currents of everything that hums a tune of desire. But I always fall short. Once again the vortex, and once again pulling at catguts of hope. Who am I to become what I want to become? I dwell and I dwell, I wait, and I am devoted to my crummy and incipient coming of age. Through a sedated storm, I beckon another start, of 18, then 19, and all my future years, awaiting the pulse of ambition that thrums around my youth. To seize another sandstorm churning into dust. Where would I go from there? Always, always being, becoming. Thank you.
Thank you, Eileen. Round of applause. Wasn't that good? Are you still scared?
Yeah, I'm so scared. Not a good speaker.
But you're a good guitar player.
Oh.
Would you say?
Oh yeah, I wrote that. I forgot.
So other than the Stokes, what others do you listen to? Any local singer-songwriters that are on your list?
Oh, sorry. There's this like local band that's really good. It's called Sobs. Amazing band. I was, oh, you listen to Sobs?
Oh wow, I've got another fan there.
Yeah.
How do you spell that? Sobs?
S-O-B-S.
The Sobs.
Sobs.
Oh, cool. So Eric, Dr. Eric Tinsey Vallis, he's also the president of Poetry Festival Singapore. Wow. How is it like? You can spill some beans. How is it like working with him?
He's like really insightful. Like he has a lot of knowledge. Like it's quite scary sometimes when I'm listening.
Scary.
It's quite scary. No. Is he watching?
No, I don't think so. It's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I think like the entire mentorship journey has been really, really like insightful, and I gained a lot of experience from it. And I think I've become a better writer from like this poem.
Yeah.
So yeah, changed a lot. So becoming.
Always becoming and being. Being and becoming. Being and becoming. Thank you, Eileen. Thank you for sharing. Okay, so since we have a little bit of time, I was just wondering if anyone had any questions for our poets. If I call your name, if you can just stand in front of the projector. Maybe Cindy, Adabel, Aiden, and Sophie, can you just maybe come up here? Any questions for our poets here? A bit of Q&A. So Cindy, Adabel, Aiden, and Sophie. Yeah, any questions from the audience? There are a lot of laughter. Question. Okay, great.
Thank you. So the question I have is, have you ever faced a writing block before? Like you just have no more inspiration and you don't find any inspiration, and how did you overcome it?
Every day I face a writing block. I think it's part of the process. It's part of the writing process. Like this was before CAP. In primary 5 I attended CWP, and the one thing I took away from that was that unfinished pieces are as important to the writing process as your finished pieces are, and they help you grow just as much. I mean, not every piece can be unfinished. You can't just leave all your pieces unfinished, but if you face a writing block and you can't finish a piece, maybe being stuck will give you inspiration for another one, or will help you find ways to get over that. So at the end of the day, some writing blocks don't need to be overcome. Yes.
Okay, so I faced my writing block exactly during my mentorship period, which is like 6 months to 1 year. So I think the mentorship itself helped me force out a lot of poems and helped me discover and challenge myself in different ways. So one example is I love to write free writing, so without any rhyme, rhythm structure, etc. But what my mentor, Mr. Theophilus Quack, did was to try to force me to go with a rhyme structure that went throughout the whole piece. So doing that, and it was something I've never done before, forced me to think differently, and that actually helped me overcome writer's block a lot.
Right, so using a different structure, or if you are used to structure, doing freestyle, isn't it? Kind of using that cognitive differences or variation to maybe overcome a block, or you don't need to overcome a block. Awesome. Any questions?
Yeah, I would really love to know who is your favorite Singaporean poet and who is your favorite non-Singaporean poet?
Ooh, that's a tough one. So I wouldn't say that I was a very lit connoisseur before I became like a writer. I feel that I sort of started to learn how to read other poets when I got into CAT, because I started to realize that you generate ideas from reading other people's works. And I'm someone who kind of like reflects and mirrors other people's styles. So if you can give me something, I kind of mirror it. But I would say, I'm going to start with the easier one, which is foreign poet. The one poem that stuck with me for a long time was The Road Not Taken. Who's it by again?
Robert Frost?
Robert Frost, yeah, sorry, my bad. Yeah, that one stuck with me for a long time because of like the idea of like, because I was stuck in a space where I was like, I'm not really sure what to do. And maybe it's sometimes okay to not know what to do and to kind of like go with the way that you sort of go about your life. Then after that, I got into like Singaporean poets, and I guess I'd say my mentor, Yeo Kai Chai, because he did give me a book for inspiration, which is Lost Bodies, I think, is when he went on a trip. Well, he didn't go on the trip, but he collaborated with 3 other Singaporean poets, and he was actually the only one left behind. And when I read his poems, it really stuck with me. So I guess that's my answer.
All right, there isn't a dislike. Okay, so we've got a last response, and then we'll have everyone sit down.
So, okay, my mentor asked me this question the first day I met her. And at that point, I really didn't read much poetry. So when I got asked that question, she and my co-mentee looked at me and I said, I read poems on Instagram.
Me too.
Thank you. Okay, I would say right now, okay, for foreign poets, the poet that made me start writing would be Lang Liave, if I've pronounced that correctly. Her books were like all lined up at Popular, and I was like, this is a really nice cover. So that's why I started reading it. And I think her poems are more on the simpler side. I think my style has kind of evolved to be a bit more different, but that's how I started writing. So I would say that that's my favorite foreign writer. And as for favorite local writer, this is definitely very, very influenced by my co-mentee as well, but definitely Cyril Wong. Yeah.
A few fans there.
I read his book, I think it's called Tilting Our Plates Towards the Light, and I really loved it. And I think that he's also a really cool person, because I talked to him a bit at Singapore's Writers' Festival, and I really enjoyed talking to him as well.
How lucky. Awesome. Thanks, everyone. Let's have a seat and invite our next speaker. Okay, next we have Bao Long. Anthony Bao Long Whistle. Anthony Bao Long Whistle, everyone.
Hi, guys. Is it? Am I too tall? Damn, alright. Hi, guys. If you see me shivering, I'm not nervous. I'm just really cold right now. Yeah, so this is my piece, In the Night Persevering. Unfortunately, I did not memorize this, so I'm going to have to read this off from somewhere. Hope you guys enjoy. In the night. The night is dark, and I feel it in my bones. The kind of thing that crushes and chokes all that is purely me. Seeking to steal, kill, and destroy the stars that mark the endless black. Whispering to make me cover my eyes. Without my worldly sight, all it would do is cover up, as if they were never there. In the night, persevering. The night is dark, and I feel it in my bones. A joy, like a pillar of fire that brings light. The kind of thing that crushes and chokes deep in the valley. In my secret place, where all that is purely me, the lion of praise guards me from the beast, seeking to steal, kill, and destroy, and brings me to a song of ascent. The stars that mark the endless black, the records of a promise always fulfilled, whispering to make me cover my eyes, so by faith I truly see, without my worldly sight, all the good work that has been done. Of this, I am sure, all it would do is cover up all that breaks my heart, as if they were never there. My bones remember no more, and they rejoice in the day. Thank you.
Thank you, Anthony. I see that you are from NTU Public Policy and Global Affairs.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, how do you keep writing even, with all the demands of uni?
Demands?
Okay, it's very easy for you, I guess.
I wouldn't say it's easy, but I do believe I live a very grace-filled life. So where there are demands, there is a rest. Amen. Yeah.
Amen to that. So this is your poem, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. And are you going to be attending Faith Unbound on Sunday? It's going to be...
No.
Yeah.
I'm busy.
Well, for the rest of us who are interested in how faith also, influences other poets like Anthony, feel free to attend Faith Unbound on Sunday. Yeah, thank you very much,
Thank
Anthony.
you.
Okay, next up, we have Ling Kao Tui. Welcome. Oh, sorry. We'll have Wesley come up first. Wesley Seng Tian. Wesley is from NTU as well.
Yes. Give me 1 second. Yeah. Hi, I am Wesley. I'm studying sociology at NTU. I'm year 3. Yeah, so I think I want to firstly thank Desmond Khan because he was me and Bao's creative writing teacher when we took a mod in NTU. Yes, so he's a great guy. Really amazing teacher and inspiring. Yeah, so I'll firstly begin with my inspiration, which is by Jordan Bolton Design. Yeah, so yeah, I'm sure that you are quite familiar with it. Because when I look at his post, he captures a passing moment in such a succinct way, and that everybody sees and everybody relates. And I like that. So yes, so for me, I'll be sharing a piece about my army experience, and it'll be presented through a visual quartet poem sequence. And the title is called Beginnings and Ends. Yes, okay. Yes, begin. With wide-eyed wonder, you walked in expectant. Tales of forged friendship, a brotherhood. You were expectant, beaming with excitement, begging and longing for the things to come. You asked the Lord and trusted Him that everything will work out for your good. But when someone asks you, how's army? With hindsight's opinion, you can only reply, it was an interesting experience. You didn't want to cry over spilled milk. Neither do you want to lie about it. So you tell a suppressed truth, not wanting to sound weak, Middle. You made your soul visible to sacrifice for the greater good because you just hoped that someone would do the same for you. Still, he hid behind the toilet door, his shield from responsibility, your instructions deflected, seeping into the drain. But you still believed in your heart the good in people, to do unto others what you want others to do unto you, right? It's fine. A bag laid there on the floor, looking for its owner, for no one to claim, so you did. And he told you it's a dog eats dog world, yet you didn't believe him. So you gave and you gave and you gave, until there was none left to give. Thoughts scribbled down, your emotions poured out, yet contained within the screen, looking for cracks to overflow out of, but protected by the lock. Your lips laced under breath with curses and swears your mother would disapprove of. A fleeting moment you'd hope lasts longer, before you're back again, looking up. Finale. Sitting in front, you heard his name announced, hands shaking hands with only a dull applause. You wondered to yourself, was it worth it? And in the end, he told you that he didn't care. With fists clenched, you held on. But Abba says to let it go. Still, I trudged up old memories once more, this time in the Arts House Blue Room. And yeah, he has made everything beautiful in its time, and he has put eternity in their hearts, except that no one can find out the work that God does from beginning to the end. Ecclesiastes 3:11.
Round of applause, Wesley. Thank you so much for sharing your inspiration with us. And later on, we might have some Q&A at the end as well.
Okay.
Thank you, Wesley. Right, next up we have Ding Kao Tui, also from tertiary education as well. Welcome. I recognize that shirt. I might have one of those.
Oh, hello. Yes. So, I'm Tui, and the poem, this is my first time writing a prose poetry, and it's longer than I thought, but I'll try. The poem is called If Our Journey Was a Scrapbook. And it's about my reflections on my connections with other people. Yeah. If our journey was a scrapbook, we take it by the seams and toothpicked the twisting threads stitched between the signatures. 3 braided veins, red from our blood at the Chinese peach garden. Parallel paths crisscrossing in confluence. A delicate dance of 3 left feet. The braids fuzz soft, sweet-scented of copper, shaded with wine, aging crusting at the knot. A belly button we fastened, hastened for the end to a beginning, when it was really the beginning to an end. The pages frayed before our eyes, palpitating petals from the fossil of a bougainvillea lightly battered with dust, baked till sun-kissed crisp at the edge, with briny divots bearing echoes of a silent rain. We stuffed it with inside jokes framed by quarterlies clippings, candy wrappers rustling with gossips, and rows of stickers chronicling our footprints to the museums. Such memories clairvoyant, persistent, insistent, tugged time by the hem. But one flip at a time's command. A page, a pocket, right side left, inside out. Letting the cats, the elephants, the skeletons scrambled out on their scrawny ant-like legs atop our curated dump. The dramatic irony was no longer lost on our own dramatis persona. Between the closure of curtains and the whiff of stale silence flashed an awareness of air, inflating like a balloon, bloating to balance out, pages made spacious as the bits and pieces slip away. Emptiness through omens has made itself known. Washi tapes dangled like half-scratched scabs, pining for the ghosts of memories that could have been. And a final flip unveiled a flyleaf of air between the pages. First and last. And so, we cut off that dead knot. Threads loosened and let flow, and brought upon ourselves a waterfall of parchment wings, slipping off our shoulders in an endless blinding tease, terrifying it with the sight of nothing underneath, the ebbs and flows of the garments that you brought for me, or the glacial slide of the glasses upon your nose that they gave you, or the plastic pen I gifted to you, that now half eroded by bites drying upon their hair. Our hands empty, weaned of the mat of joss sticks and half-glazed liquor cups and a buffalo head like black leather that have all eloped from our clasps. We've become our own strands, braiding ourselves with shivering, strapping arms, cross-legged and curled up, but halted to sniffle. Because maybe it's not half bad being your own codex centerfolds. Our newborn selves glossy, arms outstretched towards our mother goddesses, yawning for a cigarette upon our lipstick lips. The days of joss sticks, pinky pacts, and Confucius-sanctioned wine are far behind. For here we are, cocooning a turban upon our heads, tearing through as shamanic butterflies, fluttering in iridescent brocades. We've become Donggo shamans, giving into rhythms of the right, our heartstrings bent to the moon lutes, Our feet thumbs to the drum, ourselves came undone. And so did the folio beneath our steps. Forget the page numbers, for we ordered them by synesthesia, with a memory of cinnamon that colored a touch of cat's fur, and the sound of splintered, seasoned apandanque green. Parchments folded into and out of cranes, final wishes and blessing to be flung away, for whomever to catch, while the rest, our burning candle batons, would clean them with flames. Amidst the blaze rose a scent, floral with sweet notes of copper and shaded of wine. The ghost of someone's scrapbook, melting, dissipating, changing its name, and resettling somewhere within the air. It's only a matter of time for me to forget, and it is for me to be forgotten by someone's, until a certain peachy breath or a specific flick of the wrist. One of the red threads dangled around my finger, a warm woolen scarf forgotten upon a waiting twig. Being unbound, one waits for rebound. Thank you.
If our journey was a scrapbook, round of applause for Jay. Thank you. Jay and I actually met in a different Roots and Roots program where he was playing his Unbound. So as you can see from his bio, there is always more diversities and interconnections than what meets the eye. Thank you, Dre. So last but not least, we have got Ricky. A round of applause for Ricky, everyone.
Yep. Can you guys hear me? Hello? I know it's a Saturday morning. So you guys are a bit tired. So why don't you all take a big, deep breath in and out. Thank you. You guys can take the slam poet out of the slam stage, but you cannot take the slam poet out of himself. So everyone, please breathe. Thank you. It's been a heavy, heavy morning. Thank you. Okay, you can stop breathing already. Breathe normally. I'm not used to reading from behind a podium, but I think for this piece, 7 IKEA bags, it's appropriate. It's a bit of a eulogy that I wrote to process the grief of losing my grandmother. It's not that heavy, guys. Be prepared to laugh. It's called 7 IKEA bags. How many blue IKEA bags can fit your whole life? For my grandmother, it was 7. 1 for each decade she had been alive. 1 bag was filled with framed pictures of her sons and late daughter, grandkids and nibblings, old Konica albums chock full of peace signs and smiles behind clear plastic sheets. Dug up memory of my cousin's birthday when I was bald and still 6 inches tall in our old flat at Marine Parade, the wooden door that didn't have a latch and could only be opened with a key. The door faced an armchair that I hadn't seen in 2 decades. Will I remember my home as fondly as that? Teak furniture, muted throws, peeling wallpaper. What connections will I have to it 50 years from now? They say that our sense of smell is closely tied to memory. Pungent durians at a big family gathering, burning wick of a candle on a birthday, aroma of paru kicap, simmering in a wok. I didn't know it would be the last one she would make. What does bad news sound like? Smell like, sorry. It sounds like an urgent knock on the door at 7 a.m. on a Saturday, talking through the phone with blocked nose, a furious clicking and clacking on a keyboard, soft thuds on a number pad of a Samsung S22. But what does it smell like? For me, it was the wafts of Texas red smoke and that fan throughout the flat. It's similar to how I imagine JFK's Situation Room during the Cuban Missile Crisis would have smelled like. The putrid overflowing ashtray sat on our coffee table as my parents and uncles scrambled to inform relatives over their phones. Bad news could smell like a stale command center, but it could also smell like Hari Raya. A big old potluck where aunties and uncles bring food, home cooked or otherwise. Zam-zam biryani, perfect mee goreng. Both so spicy, it made my eyes water at just the sniff. Coffee buns from the roti boy at Terminal 3. I don't know why specifically Terminal 3, but the auntie bought it from there. Box teh tarik next to the tower of the rose syrup. Oh, beautiful. So sugary, half the relatives probably have to cut off their leg afterwards. And don't let me get started on the Atta perfume. Oh, wow, it smells like Friday prayers, man. Oof. The day after the gathering, we packed up my late grandmother's rental flat. It all fit snug into 7 IKEA bags. We swept the floor, we threw the trash and perishables from the fridge. And then in the fridge, we found one last box of paru kicap. Thank you.
Thank you, Ricky. Please stay on. Now we'll have the last few poets come up as well. So the last 4 that haven't come up yet. We'll have a very quick Q&A. So we've got a mic in the audience now, haven't we? I missed some questions earlier. Does anyone want to ask any questions? There were a few hands up earlier.
Anyone wants to ask any questions?
Actually, I have a question for basically everyone from here. So you guys spoke very, very warmly of all of your mentors, and I think that's really great. But if you could condense like a nugget of information from your mentors, what would you say? Never pay attention, right?
One line or one word about your mentor.
I'm not sure if I should answer this question. Because when I was joining the CAP program, I was part of the seminar only. Yeah. So, yeah.
Scissors, paper. This is a bit challenging question for me and Wesley to ask because we technically aren't a part of any program, so we have no mentors. I guess like in terms of like having to interact with Desmond, right? I think what we can sound is that he is, to me, I think he's very discerning with what can be improved and what works well with our works. It helps that we share the similar or the same faith, depending on how you view it. So it helps that he can see the heart behind our pieces and go deeper. So I think that's one thing that I think that sums up hopefully our relationship with Desmond.
All right, Wesley, you got out of it. Now, anyone else?
So, is it fair to say that most of you picked up writing in like your later years, like in the last like few years or so? How do you feel that age or maturity in the current state of like uni or like after coming out of NS is different from like maybe starting at a younger age? Like, I mean, Toy, I think also started younger maybe. So, but like, how do you feel that that kind of like different setting has affected you guys?
So I think Sophie had a point about the, writing very pre-genetic pieces. I would tell people that I started performing when I was 17, but actually started writing when I was 16. And the reason I say that is because I don't want anyone to ever listen to anything I've written before the I think it's very, very fair. I think overall, like I've changed so much. Like when I first started performing slam poetry, when I first started performing, it was so full of rhyme. It was so full of unnecessary. It was not even in meter. It was just really ham-fisted. You read it and then you're like, who's gonna say this word because it rhymes. So yeah, I've evolved so much. I've embraced my own voice per se. Not to say I don't use rhymes anymore. I do like to have a language form that uses like limericks or very, very long-winded rhymes to change that aspect. Well, I started writing when I was 16 and I'm 24 now, which is a very, very scary thing to think about. In your mid-20s and you've written for 3 years.
Yeah, you're very old already. Okay.
So for me, I started trying out writing, I think also around like Sec 3 in Singapore. Yeah, and like when you look back at like your old writings, you always cringe. I think that's just the universal experience of a writer. But I do say that how I write, I guess, changes a lot because from when you started out until now, we've also been through many experiences, and we also read other people's work, so we know, okay, so this writer uses these certain techniques, they explore a certain topic in this way, and then you just extract like this knowledge for yourself, and then you try, just keep on writing. Yeah.
And I imagine for people like you who also dabble in many art forms, like you play the Unbound, which is a one-string instrument. It's very interesting. You have a lot of inspiration from music as well.
I would say so.
Yeah, thank you everyone. Now we'll invite all the readers up on stage to take photos. Round of applause to all the readers for School Unbound, Poetry Festival Singapore 2024. All right, so we'll line up here in front, and any families, you can be ready to take photos right after, because we have got our next program starting in about 10 minutes. Tall people in front, taller behind. Try not to bend down. I think you can move a bit more to the left. Go ahead behind. I think that's good. PFS! PFS! Yeah, fun pose. Yay, PFS.